let's get a check on the commodities market. Now we have Dr. Ifeoma Nwoko, who's a manager at Financial Derivatives Company. And she's joining me right here in the studio. It's great to have you. Good morning.
Good morning, laddie.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, but I guess I'm holding my breath now, waiting for the rebased numbers. That's for inflation numbers for January. We have some numbers flying around.
Exactly.
At the moment. Some are saying 24%, different numbers. What are you seeing?
Okay, I think the delay in the release of the data is, I think this is the first time this data will be released.
Right. I'm used to it coming 15th.
Ordinarily, it's supposed to be on the 15th,
right, as
usual. But I think they are trying to be cautious this time. So trying to avoid glitches, backlash from the public. But from the unofficial data we are seeing flying around, we have 24.48 as inflation number. So let's assume this comes out to be true, official. So it means inflation has declined by almost more than 10%.
Wow. From
where we're coming from. We have 34.8%. So what does it mean? This simply means that it could be true because, one, methodology has changed. Two, weight of the commodities in the basket has changed. Let's take, for instance, the weight of food. So
there's no way with all of these changes, the inflation numbers could come out higher? There's no way?
Of course, no. It's not going to come out higher. It's not going to come out higher. Okay, the trend, we know it's going to be low. Rebasing the basket means all of the weight in the basket are going to change. And I take food, for instance. Before now, the weight of food was 50.18. And now it is 40.1. That is a sharp decline of over 10%. And looking at Nigeria, food is the major culprit of inflation. So if food inflation could decline by, the weight could decline by 10%, there's likelihood. And look at this telecom tariff hike. It has remained stable for years. So using 2014 as a base year, that time, the hike, we don't have a telecom hike.
Right.
So this will not be reflected in that. So it's definitely going to decline. But the magnitude, we don't know. All these data flying around are unofficial. And following our own survey and data-driven results using the old methodology, we saw that inflation is likely going to decline in January. Okay? So the trend...
So if we're using the old methodology, we'd see a decline?
Of course. We saw a decline of about 1.45% from what it used to be. So we got about 33.35%.
All right, so you did mention, the tariff hike, with the telcos. That's definitely not going to be reflective.
Of course.
And we're supposed to do this every 5 years.
Yes.
Or 10, depending.
5 years.
5 years, mostly, right? Okay, so what do you think should be the next move, after we get this data, this current one? Should we be thinking of, doing some kind of mini update, for this tariff hike and all of that?
Okay, so what we are going to see after now, this is the first time this data will be released. So after now, subsequently, we begin to see the true picture of what the data is going to look like, because all other factors are going to come in. So let's not forget that this is also buoyed by some factors. You see petrol price come down. You see diesel price come down. You see CBN intervention. Exchange rate has been stable for quite some time, and we have seen an appreciation of 4 to 5% in Naira between December and now. And also another major factor is consumer. They are restricting their consumption because of income constraints.
Right, because if you don't have money, what are you doing, consuming that much?
So you are going to see, I also saw that prices of commodities came down in January. Prices of commodities
so that should be a nice combination.
Yeah.
If I say so, because we're seeing demand destruction.
Of course.
And we're seeing the prices, coming down.
Yeah.
On their own. So I guess that's good news, somewhat, for inflation, even though it seems like some bad news.
Of course, it's good news.
If consumers are not able to consume as they want,
exactly.
then, that's not positive.
At this point, it's a good news. But even though we are seeing, let me say, the data is unofficial, 10% decline, commodity prices have not declined by 10% in the market. That's what we see. So this is going to help to at least drive MPC meeting, because we are seeing falling inflation, even with the old methodology and the new methodology.
Do you think
is finally released?
Do you think, since this is a new methodology at this point, should the MPC kind of like hold on, when it comes to either hiking or cutting? And do you think the best move for now, so we understand this new methodology and the data we're getting, just hold the rates? Is that a better move?
Exactly what they are going to do. That's the best move right now, because they want to hold the rates. There's no need for cutting, in a hurry to cut. There's no need for hiking. Inflation is falling. You see other factors that will be considered. CBN has been doing so well, intervening in the FX market. Look at the FX market, it's stable for some time now. Naira is appreciating and all the rest. Prices of PMS is coming down. So based on this, I think they will hold to wait and see the trend of inflation over the months, because this is a new methodology. And let's not forget that there are confluence of events coming up. We're going to have the Muslim Ramadan. We're going to have Easter in April. So these events are likely going to shoot up commodity prices.
All right, so, definitely we're all waiting for that. I'm sure at some point, hopefully my producer will whisper in my ear that we have the inflation numbers, officially from the MBS, but I'm listening for that. It's not out yet, but let's look at the oil market now. We're seeing this morning, marginally down, Brent, WTI on the flip side. That was, for the good there in the green. What do you think is playing out, so far? Is it meeting expectations with what we're seeing with oil prices in this first quarter?
Okay, we're seeing that prices are increased marginally for Brent. And this is due to the underflow of OPEC. OPEC has a kind of restricted the increase of production, and they will further reduce production, according to them, by 1.7 million barrels between now and 2026. And this is because, number one, demand for Brent is beginning to decline. You see, China has shifted their consumption pattern away to cleaner energy.
Right. So
the demand of Brent in China is very weak right now, and some other countries are beginning to produce this crude oil, and it's going to be have what we call have a financial threat on OPEC members, especially Nigeria, who depend solely on exportation of crude oil. And let's not forget that our budget, crude oil budget, is
that benchmark.
Yes. So we are underwater when it comes to that benchmark. But
also on the flip side, some will say, okay, that's good for domestic prices of fuel. Since the prices in the oil market are going down, then we should enjoy that. Consumers, buying PMS for cheaper. But most of the time, it translates to stable prices, I guess, not really lower prices.
Translates to stable prices, and we're seeing it today. That is why you see prices coming down, of PMS coming down. It's based on global oil price. So once there is a shift in global oil price, it's definitely going to affect prices of.
But I'm still not satisfied with the amount of drop we see. When oil prices drop, and we compare that with the PMS price drop. I'm still not. Maybe it's the Oliver Twist in me, but definitely, I'm hoping for a bigger drop.
In PMS prices. You won't see that bigger drop, because there are other factors. Factors such as logistics. You have to move those commodities from wherever you're buying it to where. So all of those commodity prices and We also filter
so you have to look at the dollar, the exchange rate,
and the
all
exchange
of that.
rates and all of that. And this decline, even though it's going to bring a drop in oil price in Nigeria, what happens to our revenue? Because when you are talking about the budget benchmark, a drop in the budget benchmark means we have lesser money in our assets reserve account.
Or maybe we just ramp up production.
So
we sell more if the prices, get lower. What are you seeing in the domestic commodities market so far?
Okay, for the domestic commodity market, we are seeing that prices are mixed. You see prices of commodities that are exchange rate driven. Some of them are flat. Some of them decline because of the stability of Naira, and pass-through effect has actually declined. Then you look at some commodities that are low now. Prices are low because of harvest season. You look at onions, you look at cassava. So you see price of Gary coming down, and a lot of people are like, price of Gary are coming down because the prices of wheat are somewhat stable. It's no news that the noodles producer use cassava for. So that's why you're seeing prices of Gary come down, and some prices
I guess that's good news, price of Gary coming down, because I've had some conversation with friends. They say there's no poor man food again. So I guess Gary prices coming down, that's nice.
Of course.
Right.
Nice.
So do you see more going into do you see some relief for the Nigerian consumer somehow this year?
Yeah, there's going to be relief, but in the medium to long term. Because, as I said earlier, we still have some events that could trigger prices, which is the Muslim Ramadan and the, the Easter period. So prices will reverse then, but some global prices are going to decline. Because if we see a truce between Russia and Ukraine, and this will definitely bring out prices of some commodities like sugar, according to EIU, before the end of the year, because we are beginning to see some geopolitical conversations going on. So there's likelihood that prices of some imported commodities.
Right, and I also keep an eye on the grains, the global grains market too.
Yeah, exactly.
As that plays out. But thank you so much. That was Dr. Ifeoma Nwokolo, Manager, Financial Derivatives Company. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Ladi.